Hello, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about ligamentum flavum. So we are done with anterior longitudinal ligament and we are done with posterior longitudinal ligament. So what is remaining today we are going to finish it. So ligamentum flavum is little different than any other ligament in the human body. It is flavum. Flavum means yellow. It is also called as yellow ligament. Now why it is called as yellow ligament is it has elastin fibers. See, I will try to explain you what is why it is different. First thing, why this ligament is different. It is the only ligament in the human body which has contractile structures. Rest all ligaments they can stretch, but it is not elastic. This is elastic. So how is it different? It is simple. In any connective tissue, there are two structures. One is collagen and one is elastin. So how much tough it is or how elastic it is, it depends on this proportion of this material. The more elastin is more elastic the structure, and collagen, more toughness, more tough. So this ligament has predominantly elastin fibers, and that is the reason why it is elastic in nature, and that is the reason it looks yellow in color. So why this ligament is elastic we will go in a while. Before that we will discuss the attachments. So attachments is little tough to draw it on the board. So first try to understand. If you can see this, the attachments, to know the attachments, first you should know, I hope you can see this. This is called lamina on both the sides. I know you have seen my first video, but still. Okay, so when I just give it a gap, this is the upper border of the lamina and this is the lower border of the lamina of the upper vertebra. This is the upper border of the lower vertebra, lower border of the lower vertebra. So do not confuse. The attachments I am going to tell you. The attachments of lamina are upper border of the lamina of lower vertebra to the lower border of the lamina of the upper vertebra, and this extends all along from sacrum to C2. Just like anterior longitudinal ligament, above C2 it has a different name. The names are, now for anterior longitudinal ligament it was anterior, now this is posterior, so you have to name it as posterior atlantoaxial ligament and posterior atlanto-occipital ligament. Now don't bother about it, now we will stick to ligamentum flavum. So this is the attachment. I hope you got an idea. So again, if you have to take a model, again this is the lamina and you can see the gaps in between, and here is where your ligamentum flavum comes. We will try to draw the diagram. Okay, this is a superior cut section. We discussed this is anterior longitudinal ligament. This is posterior longitudinal ligament. This is the spinal cord. In lumbar, cauda equina. For convenient purpose, you can say spinal cord. So this is the vertebral canal, vertebral foramina. This is posterior longitudinal ligament. This is lamina. This is lamina. This is the upper border. and this is where your ligamentum flavum comes. And since it is a cut section, it will go up and it will attach to the lower border of the lamina of the upper vertebra. You cannot see that in cut section. This is the ligamentum flavum. Again, posterior view. Imagine this is the diagram is not clear, but still, spinous process, lamina, and this is ligamentum flavum, all along from sacrum to C2. And again, here I am trying different pictures so that you can get an idea. Yeah, and again here. See, this is posterior longitudinal ligament. Here comes the spinal cord, and here this is lamina, so inside it will be, this will be your ligamentum flavum. So in the spinal canal, vertebral foramina, whatever you want to call it, spinal cord, posteriorly you will be having ligamentum flavum, and anteriorly you will be having posterior longitudinal ligament. So I hope you got an idea of ligamentum flavum. Once you understand this, we will know the functions. It is fairly easy, depending on the location, what is the functions of ligamentum flavum. So first function, as you can see, if you can see this, yeah, the first function is it will limit flexion. See, the ligament is here, so when you are going for flexion, it will limit. Second function is it will assist extension. Now there is no other ligament we talk like this, but this is the only ligament we talk like this. It will assist a movement because it has a contractile property. See, imagine it is elastic. So since it is elastic, it will contract. So when you are going for flexion, it will control the flexion, and when you are going into extension, it will assist the extension. So this is the speciality of this ligament. It will assist extension also. Third function is, see, since it is a contractile structures, in neutral position, third point, in neutral position, it is supporting the segment, even in neutral. Many ligaments in neutral, it will become relaxed. Anterior and posterior, when you are sitting, your ligaments are relaxed. But this ligaments, even in neutral position, it is always under tension, just like elastic band. See, imagine this is the ligamentum flavum. So when the ligament is elastic, see, when it is like this, it always tends to come down. So when the ligament is attached to the vertebra to vertebra, this pulls it downwards even in neutral position. Fourth function, stability even in movement during dynamic stability. See, we talked about static stability. Even in neutral, it is stabilizing the segment, but even during the movement, you move this side, that side, even then this acts like a stabilizing structure. To give you an example, imagine a dog and the owner of the dog tied with this one tag, and the dog will go here and there, but the tag controls it. Similarly, ligamentum flavum is like a tag. You can move about here and there, but there is always a control of the tag so that it doesn't damage your structures. So this is your fourth function. Next function is it will help buckling of the structures. Now what is buckling of the structure? See, I hope you can see. Just imagine, since this is anterior longitudinal ligament, when I do this, what happens? It stretches, but when I am closing, can you see the structures folding in between and going inside? This is called as buckling. Again, if I have to explain you in a different way, imagine this is a ligament. This is a ligament. When you stretch, it's fine, but when it coming back, it buckles, it folds in between. This buckling is avoided when the ligament is elastic. So when the ligament is elastic, flexion is fine, it is stretching, but when it is coming back, it doesn't fold onto itself, it will contract, thus there is no buckling. Next function of this ligamentum flavum is it will protect the structures in the facet joint. Again, the concept is buckling only. Again, I will tell you. If you can see, when I do flexion, the facets are going away. So what happens? The capsule gets stretched. That is fine. But when it's coming back, what happened? There is a chance for the capsule to get folded and get stuck between the joint. To avoid this mechanism, your ligamentum flavum is connected to capsule. So when it is coming back into extension, the ligamentum flavum pulls this capsule so that there is no buckling happening. So these are the functions of ligamentum flavum. So now you know why this ligament is elastic. Why this ligament is elastic? One reason, even in neutral position it will control, and even dynamic stability it will give. And third most important reason is it will buckle, it will prevent buckling of itself on the same. You see this, since it has where is the spinal cord? It is in immediate contact with the spinal cord. So when extension, what happens? If this is not elastic, there is chance for this to fold onto itself. And again the same thing, this is this side. So this ligamentum flavum can fold this side also, and this ligament can prevent the facet joint from folding also. So this is the reason why the ligamentum flavum is elastic in nature. So next we will go to this is over, ligamentum flavum is over. Next we go to supraspinous ligament. As the name itself suggests that, what is the attachment of supraspinous ligament? Spine, supra. So it comes here. The attachments are tip of one spinous process to the tip of the other spinous process, immediate spinous process. Yes. Interspinous ligament comes here. So the attachment is the lower border of the shaft of the superior spinous process to the upper border of the shaft of the lower spinous process. I hope you will be able to differentiate between supraspinous ligament and interspinous ligament, because function is same but the attachments are different. Supraspinous ligament is from tip of the spinous process above to the tip of the spinous process below, and then this is interspinous ligament. Again, if I have to show you with this, tip of the spinous process, here comes the supraspinous ligament and here comes the interspinous ligament. So based on location, you can guess what is the function of these two ligaments. It will prevent, I should not say prevent, it will resist flexion, because flexion should happen, but excessive flexion it will control. Can you see these ligaments will get stretched? Yeah. So during flexion injury, suppose you fall or anything and you fall in a flexion injury, these two ligaments are the first ligaments to get injured, because this is the posterior most structure. This is the most posterior most structure, thus it will get injured frequently. So that's the interspinous and supraspinous ligament. Next is intertransverse ligament. As the name itself suggests, intertransverse ligament is between two transverse processes. So if I have to draw it here, the attachments are lower aspect of transverse process of one to the upper aspect of transverse process of the immediate vertebral body, or you can just say between two immediate transverse process, attached between two transverse process on either side. It is on the either side. But one thing I want to tell you is this ligament is not that much developed in lumbar. It is more prominent in thorax and cervical, but not so much. Almost you cannot see this ligament in lumbar, but for academic purpose you have to mention this as well. So what is the function of this ligament? As you can see this, when I am side bending on one side, suppose if I am side bending this side, this will get stretched. So side bending on, example, side bending on left side, my right side intertransverse ligament will resist. So if I am bending this side, contralateral intertransverse ligament resists this movement. These two don't act together. Suppose you bend this side, this will get stretched. You bend this side, this will get stretched. So it will resist side bending, contralateral side bending. Together it will act to stabilize the lumbar spine and also to promote this extension. It will not allow excessive flexion. So the final ligament is your iliolumbar ligament. Some people don't include in lumbar spine. It is actually a sacroiliac joint ligament, because its function is on sacroiliac joint. As you can see this, the attachments are iliolumbar ligament, the transverse process of L5 to the iliac crest on either side, transverse process of L5 to the iliac crest, this much only. So it predominantly affects the SI joint. It has nothing to do with the lumbar spine, except it is present in lumbar spine and it will help in stability. So this finishes the ligaments of the lumbar spine. Anything, have I missed any point? Ligamentum flavum. Yes, all the ligaments are covered. So next class we will be going to osteokinematic.